Hi, this is Mary Reed, and this video is a supplement to the video Coming Home to True Love. So I ask that you watch that video first for context for this exercise. After you've seen that video, then you can use this as your exercise as many times as you need. This video is for a box exercise that is intended to help us identify when we're working from, especially responding from, the mental constructs of our life that we've been conditioned to live according to, and how to get out of that habit and into the habit of responding more from the divine love, the presence of divine love that we are. So that's the purpose of this video. You are going to need a box and a pen. It's best if you have a white box or a light box that you can write on. If you have only a beige cardboard box, you can get a heavier pen, maybe a marker or something to write on, so that you can see the words that you're going to write very clearly. Once you have your box and your pen, you need to find a comfortable spot with a little back support and sit either with both feet on the floor or in a cross-legged position as long as you're comfortable and can remain in that position. We'll start with getting very comfortable in your seated position. You have the box in front of you in your lap and your pen. Write on your box, on the top of your box where it's prominently displayed, your name, '(S), mind. So my box says Mary's Mind. And now I'm going to give you some words to write, and as you write them, I want you to think about what really goes into each word. So for example, the first word is my past. You write the words my past on there. And as you write those words, think about what that is. Think about everything that's in your past that you're writing. And next, write my memories. And next, write my stories. These are all the stories that you tell about your life, what did and didn't happen to you, what other people have done or didn't do, all of your stories. And next, write my intellect. Your beautiful intellect. And next, write my pride. And next, my labels. And next, my beliefs. You might write that one pretty big. My self-worth. My future. These are all of your hopes and dreams and plans, everything that you have to do. And now, I'm just going to call out some words, and you can write them as they come along. Just think about what that is for your life. And we'll start with the word fear. Judgment. Opinions. Questions. Assumptions. Worries. anger, blame, justifications, jealousy, doubt, lack, and stresses. Now, you can put away your pen. I want you to just take a minute to look at your box. Think about all of those words that are written on your box, everything that's in your mind. Think about the scale of everything that you've just written. Take a look at each of the words and think about what's in your mind. Open your box up on your lap. Close your eyes. Take in all of your surroundings. Take in everything that you can hear, everything that you can sense. The air, the sounds, my voice, the rise and fall of your breath. And I want you to note particular attention inside of your head and around your head where we traditionally think our mind resides. And I want you to think about taking a big deep breath in, and as we do, we're just going to grab on to everything in our mind and take good hold of it. Breathe it in. And now as you breathe it out, I want you to breathe every bit of it as though it's grains of sand down into the box. Everything from your mind. Easily down into the box. Every thought is no bigger than a grain of sand. You know that your mind has a magnetic quality to it. So any thoughts that come up, we just magnetize back down into that box so easily. Anything that pops up, just right back down into the mind. So now let's do that again. See if we can find other things remaining in our mind. Take a deep breath in. And all of it down into the box. We're not seeking to feel anything. We're not searching for any feeling. We're just letting our mind go. It's all magnetized easily down into the box. Our head is feeling a little lighter now, and as we start feeling lighter, we can feel more centered in our heart space, very easily in our heart space. Very lightheaded. Let's take one more round of grabbing hold of anything that's remaining in the mind, down into the box. Deep breath in. Grab hold of anything remaining and down into the box. Everything we can feel now just through the heart. We're breathing through the heart. We're hearing me through the heart. Our head has become so light, we can just go ahead and feel like we have no head. Everything we sense is from the chest down, really centralized, especially in the heart. We feel the vastness of the heart. Any thoughts that come up are just magnetized down into the box so easily. We're not thinking about anything. We've let everything just sit by. And we are resting in the heart. We can go ahead and place the box to the side now. Every bit of this open, vast heart space we can join with in the rise and fall of our breath. We are just in this vastness. We have no head, no thoughts. We are in a state of being. In this vast, open heart space, even though we've let what usually determines our sense of ourselves go, we can still feel that we're still here. There's a sense of us that is still present. And in this vast presence, with no thoughts, everything is falling into the box as anything comes up. In this presence, this vast presence, we can realize that we can't see where we begin, nor can we see where we end. We also, in this vast space, can't tell where anything else begins or anything else ends. And yet we know we can't separate ourselves from this space. We can feel our own vastness in this way. We can realize, as we feel into this space, all of our thoughts falling into the box as they arise, that this is a space that we cannot make ever go away. We also can't change this space. We can't manipulate it. This space is. It is the isness space. We can identify in this space, but this is not religious. There's not a moral good or bad in here. Everything simply is. remember again that we cannot separate ourselves from this space. We're not looking for anything in this space. We're not expecting anything in this space. We're simply being this space. We can realize, too, that there's actually nowhere where this space is not. And therefore, there's nowhere where we ourselves are not. As we really feel into this space, receiving the presence of this space within, we can identify that this space is entirely unconditional. There are no conditions imposed upon this space. We can feel that everything in this space is equal in its possibility and potential to exist. We can feel how everything in this space would be free to express what it is as it is, without any oppression or suppression. Everything in the canvas of this field is free. It's very easy to identify that this is a space of oneness, that everything is unified and connected and interwoven in this field. This is the ultimate field of acceptance of isness, because it is the field of isness. Feeling into this divine field, it's very easy to sense and to see how any response that occurs in this divine field has the highest good for all concerned in its outcome. It can be no other way. Nothing in this field can affect only a single person. Everything that happens here happens in the highest interest of all. We can see how in this space, this is where wisdom can rise unobstructed. And we can sense that the wisdom that would rise in this space would be pure, unobstructed from anything. Everything is unobstructed in this field because this field is not a place that we are believing in, but rather that we are experiencing as ourselves. That we simply are this field. It cannot go away. It cannot change to something else. This is not a construct. Finally, you can see that in this field we are not only aware now of this field, but we are casting our attention on this field. That's a very important thing to take in. We are aware and attentive both now to this field. The teacher Mooji has a wonderful quote in which he says, "Find that place which is effortless at rest within itself, and be one with that." This is where you are. As you feel comfortable, wiggle your toes. You can wiggle your fingers, wiggle your eyebrows. As you're ready, you can open your eyes, get oriented to the space that you're in. When you're oriented, I want you to pick up your box, hold it against your heart, take a good deep breath in, and as you breathe out, infuse every grain of sand in that box with the presence of divine love that you are. Every grain of sand soaking that in. Our goal is not to rid ourselves of our mind. Our mind gives us such beautiful experiences and interpretations and manifestations and all kinds of things. Our goal is to have our mind in service to and in partnership with divine love. You can see, as you've come back to your awareness of the normal field here, that your thoughts popped right back up, your mind started actively engaging without any kind of trouble. And you can see as we do that now the awareness of that divine field slips away. So our normal attention constricts the flow of our awareness and attention to that space of divine love. And so our goal is to use this box, to use the exercise of this box, to practice our attention and our awareness both remaining in our heart space, in that place of divine love. And the way that we can do this in using this box is, first of all, we've been conditioned to operate mindlessly, totally, habitually mindlessly through these mental constructs through the mind. And so we have to condition ourselves back out of the mind space and into the presence of our own true nature, into the presence of that divine love within. So you can start using this box very simply. Use it 5 minutes, 3 times a day to start. And you can do that when you first wake up in the morning. You can sit up, do this breathing down, just exactly what we did, but do it only for 5 minutes. And when you finish, set your box aside and go into another room and do a task. Brush your teeth, make your coffee, make your lunch, do whatever, but stay in that heart space. Practice staying in that heart space as you begin going through your day. You can do this on your lunch hour. You can do this right before you go to bed. 5 minutes, 3 times a day. And you can work up then to 10 minutes, 3 times a day, or 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and 30 minutes at the end of the day. It's very nice to do this, especially at the end of the day, right before you go into sleep. And you'll begin to notice a significant difference in your ability to rest more deeply, in your dreams and everything else. Everything will start shifting here. You can then work this up to 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at lunch, 30 minutes in the evening, etc. But work up more and more and more, staying in that heart space. And then it just becomes a habit. And as things trigger you, as you figure out in your day you're being triggered by this event or that event, you know you can just stop for a moment, drop down into the heart space, access this place first, and then alternatives to how we would have responded will naturally start flowing and coming up much more easily. And you'll start noticing as you open up more of this space in your body that you begin alleviating some physical stresses and aches and pains and things like that. You'll have more awareness start popping up in your mind. Things start making much more sense. You may, in fact, begin having some metaphysical experiences as well. This is actually the door that I go right through when I have my own metaphysical experiences, piercing very deeply into that. And this is just an exercise that very simply takes you back into this space, your heart space, that's very natural. And one of the things to take notice of when you start having some kind of triggering events, you can ask yourself, which I is upset in this? The I that's associated with my mind, or the I that is in this field that is inseparable from divine love? Which one am I identifying with in this triggering moment in which I am upset, or I am afraid, or I am frustrated? Which I is it? The we I that's one with everything, or this I that's in the mental construct state? It's very helpful to see where you're identifying with in the I moment. I am afraid, I am angry, I am this. It's perfectly fine to feel whatever you feel, but you can identify where that's coming from and often see where that pain is that you're trying to reject here. When you take it out into the broader collective field, things then become more obvious about what the source of this is. So this is the exercise to use. You're free to email me with questions or anything else that you have regarding this. But now I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions that have come about as a result of using this box exercise with some of the audiences that I've spoken with earlier this year, and in response to the video that I've made and some of the others that I've made previously. So I'm now going to give you some Q&A time. And again, if you have other questions or something, just email me or post your comments below in this video and I'll answer them here. The first question that some people have is, I am really busy. I've got kids, I've got a high-stress job, I've got a lot of housework, I've got things to do. I don't have time to be doing these kinds of exercises or to meditate. I can't find the time. This goes back to the inquiry of willingness that I spoke about in the Coming Home to True Love video. And that is, am I really willing to be the presence of divine love that answers the cry and ends the suffering inherent in the good trumps bad model of life? Am I really willing to be the presence of divine love that I really already am? You have 1,440 minutes in every day. 1,440 minutes in every day. You're making choices about what you do with every one of those minutes. If you're really willing, you can find 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, 15 minutes a day to begin conditioning yourself into that presence of divine love. The second question that some people have is this idea of not wanting to feel what they feel, that I don't like this anger, or I don't like that other people can experience their anger. It's not okay. There's a difference between embracing what we feel and indulging what we feel. So the embracing honors that this is already here, right? We have to accept what's here. We can also, instead of the word accept, we can use the phrase given this, right? So If I'm already angry, given this, then this determines from there where you react from. Do you react from the place of anger, or do you take a step back, you center yourself in your heart, and then you can react from there. This is the difference between embracing what you feel, the truth is you feel angry, and indulging what you feel, right? That then we just act from that platform, we grab onto that, and we go from there. This is the difference. We need to begin to have a different relationship with these kinds of energies because they are already part of who we are. And so rather than saying, I don't like you, which is a judgment and a rejection, we can look at what these things are bringing us, right? What they're helping to teach us or helping us experience. So when we come into a place of gratitude for these things and we say, literally to our fear or to our anger, to our pride or judgment, to any of these things, when we turn it around and we say, I see you again, I see you again, thank you. I see what you're showing me. I see the pain that you're carrying. Thank you for everything that you're bringing to my attention. I will include you as the oneness of all that I am. You're already here. I love you. Thank you. That's it. That's not an indulging of it. It is an embracing, honoring what's here, but not having any greater rejection of it, that we just allow it to be. A very common question that I get these days is, I really want to be an activist. I can't just stand idly by and watch everything that's going on in the world. It doesn't feel right for me to do that. And my response is always, it's great to be an activist. If that's what really turns you on, have a party, go for it. But find the impulse of joy in doing it. Because if you're going from a place of anger or resentment or hurt, that's the energy that you're infusing into your work. So if you find the impulse of joy in doing the work, you have a completely different starting point. It's also a much more buoyant energy to work with. So first of all, it's a lot more fun in your life to do things that you find joy in doing, but also you're shifting the momentum to something that's more aligned with the expansiveness of divine love. So by all means, do your activist work, and as you find the impulse of joy in doing it, you're going to find alternatives to the normal sort of resisting kind of energy that a lot of activist history has. And so you're going to discover that there are alternatives that you can open up and do. And I'll give you a good example of something that I saw recently that was really smart in terms of bringing joy to activist work. And that was, I don't remember which town it was responding to a white supremacist march. And the march was going to happen anyway, so there's no sense in going out and resisting it. It was already underway. So rather than adding conflict energy to it, the members of the town turned that march into a fundraiser for anti-hate groups. And so they had people sponsor the people in the white supremacist march. So for every block that they walked, the other people raised X number of dollars. And to make sure that they raised a lot of money, they set up fruit stands and water stands to give nourishment to the white supremacists that were walking so they could just raise more money for the anti-hate groups. And then they would post signs every now and again saying, thank you, so far you've raised such and such enough money for our anti-hate groups. So it was a very creative and funny and joyful way to respond to what was happening and use that in a way that was more aligned with divine love. So there are alternatives that will open up if you find the impulse of joy and common ground with others in doing that. Another question that people commonly have is they want to know what it is within them that needs to change or shift in order to help them be more centralized into their heart. And they're concerned that just doing the exercise gets this part, but it doesn't let them see where the work is, right? What the work is. But in fact, this is the very way to see that. As we become more adept at centralizing into our heart space, as we come out into the mental construct state, into the mental awareness state, it is then that we begin to see, oh, I see now where I'm grasping, or I can see what's constricting my flow of awareness to my divine state here. And it's that place that then we see, oh, I see, I'm the basis of this fear or the basis of this clinging or this aversion or whatever it is. I can see now where that is. So it's in this transitioning from here to here that things begin to illuminate much more easily. And so this box exercise, this centralizing exercise, actually helps us illuminate more of what's tripping us up in here. And it's those things that we can then see, have gratitude for, and then just include in our divine space here. Some people have the question, I can't feel my heart. I can't feel this openness in my heart. And that's perfectly fine. That just indicates that we have a little blockage in the energy in that space. It's no problem at all. So we just need a little way to open that flow. And I have a very simple exercise to do that. If you can think about just sitting very quietly and calmly in any comfortable position, and as you sit quietly, then you take in everything around you. You can reach up and touch the crown of your head where the front and back meet. You can kind of wiggle it a little and push down on it just a little bit until you can really firmly feel it there with your eyes closed, and then let go. And now you can still feel this point in your head. You can take a nice deep breath in. And as you do that, you can feel the pressure on this part of your head. And now you can just let it go. And as it goes, you can feel it fall down through your spine, all the way down to your rear end, where your rear end meets wherever you're sitting. So that you can feel this energy up and down your spine. You can do it again. Breathe in. Feel that energy on the pushing on that spot on your head. Let it go. Feel it falling down your spine. All the way. And then as you breathe more and more, having that energy of your breath meet that energy that you can now feel tingling in your spine. More and more. If you need to do it one more time, we can do that. Breathe in. Feel the pressure on that spot. And have it fall down all the way down your spine. Really awakening these energies. Awakening all the energy centers along the way. Joining our breath with this energy. And now we can reach up and just touch our heart space right here. Really feel it just like we did the top of our head. And now, still feel that space. Take a good breath in and feel that pressure there. And now we're going to go directionally like this, not vertically, but horizontally, through the heart, through the back, in and out. Take a deep breath in. And now let it go. Open that heart space this direction. Do that again. You can feel that heart space really opening. And now, just take a good deep breath in through the heart and feel it just opening in all directions. All of that energy throughout the body, breathing in through the heart and out through the heart. Very, very, very easily. You can do this as many times as you need. You can help create that opening in that heart and then go back and try the box exercise from there. What we do in this is that we open up the energy channels along the spine that are connected to the energy centers in the body, which all meet through the heart space. And then we're opening up that flow in the heart space to have it dimensionally go out in other directions. It very easily opens up the blocks in the heart. And lastly, one of the biggest questions that I get is, I have an overwhelming sense of fear that I don't know what to do with. Again, you can identify who is the I that has this fear. Is it the I that's all identified with the mind? This traditionally is what we think of as the mind, the box, right? Everything in that box is traditionally what we think we are. Is that the I that's consumed with fear? Or is it this I? When you do this, you can see, you know, that the I that's consumed with fear is all in the box. We also know that ultimately that box is empty. Every grain of sand in that box is a construct that's not real. It's just something that we've created for an experience, a perspective experience. This is all this is. So we can easily let go of any ideas that we need to hold on to that. We can let that overwhelming sense of fear fall into the box in our box exercise. Give it a break. Love it. Let it be. And then examine from our divine state, from this heart space, is that fear still here? No. If you have other questions that I've not answered today, please feel free to email me at the contact tab on my website, or post your comments below in the video, on this video, and I'll be happy to answer them publicly as well. So anybody who emails me, I promise I will respond. I may do so publicly so that other people can hear this response as well. So I thank you for your time. I hope all of this is very helpful to you. I send this with immense love and joy for your presence in my life. May our time together, in any way that we're together, be of benefit to all beings.